Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to discuss with you some of the most important interview questions that has been asked in any Cucumber based interview, automation interview. So let's start. So first of all, what is Cucumber? It is a behavior driven development testing tool. It provides a method for writing tests that anyone regardless of technical knowledge can comprehend. We can write test scripts from both the developers and customers perspectives with behavior driven development. So what happens in Cucumber based BDD testing tool, we can write our test cases in a very simple language that is called Gherkin language, that is easily understandable by any non-technical person. Okay, so let's see what are some important questions related to Cucumber. So first of all, what is Cucumber and what are the advantages of Cucumber? So to run functional test written in a plain text Cucumber tool is used. In Cucumber, we write our test in a very plain, simple language. You can simply understand what is happening in a particular scenario. It is written in a Ruby programming language. Advantages of Cucumber are you can involve business stakeholders who cannot code. Okay. End user experience is a priority and high code reuse. So these are the advantages of Cucumber framework. Now the next question is, what are the two files required to execute a Cucumber test scenario? So in Cucumber, when we start creating our framework, we have to write some feature files. So first of all, we write feature files. Inside these feature files, we can simply write our scenarios in a very simple language. Then for the implementation of these feature files, we write step definition files. So if you are asked that what are the two files required to execute a Cucumber test scenario, so we have to write for each scenario a feature file and its corresponding step definition file. Okay, in feature file, simply the test scenario is written in simple language, and step definition file, the implementation of the feature file will be written. Now explain the use of background keyword in Cucumber. So background keyword is used to group multiple given statements into a single group. The keyword mostly used when the same set of given statements are repeated in each scenario of the feature file. So suppose there is a particular piece of code that has to be executed before each scenario. So instead of writing it with every scenario separately, we can simply use background keyword in Selenium in our feature file and write those line of code with background keyword. So it will be whatever you will write with the background keyword, it will be executed with all the before all the scenarios in feature file. Okay, now give an example of a behavior driven test in a plain text. So this is one of the example how we write a simple test in Cucumber. So first of all, we write the feature, what feature we are going to write. So for each feature file, we have to name it. We have to name the feature file. So first of all, at the top of your file, you write feature and whatever the scenario is written inside it. In this example, for example, visit XYZ page in abc.com. Then the scenario, then we write the scenario, visit abc.com. Then in the given is basically a precondition that you have landed on a particular page. So with the given keyword, you write the piece of code that is used as a precondition. Okay, when keyword is used when you have to perform a particular action. Suppose I click on XYZ page. Okay, then this is basically the expected outcome. Like I have written, when I click on this page, then I should see ABC page. Okay, so these are some important keyword that we use in Cucumber feature file: feature, scenario, given, when, then. Okay, now what is scenario outline in feature file? So whenever we have to as I already told you that scenario is we can write multiple scenarios in a single feature file. Okay, so suppose if a particular scenario has to be executed with a group of test data, there we use scenario outline. Instead of using scenario, we use scenario outline. So what happens is, after we will write this scenario outline same as the scenario, but what happens is, because we want to run this particular scenario for different piece of data, so we use examples keyword here, and then in a tabular form in our feature file we write our data, test data, below the examples keyword. Okay, then explain the term step definition in Cucumber file. So I have already told you that step definition is the implementation of the feature file. So step definition is the actual code implementation of the feature mentioned in the feature file. Suppose if I am writing here, when I click on XYZ page, this will be written in feature file. So in the corresponding step definition file, I'll be writing a piece of code which will actually perform this step. Okay, and then give an example of step definition using given function. So here one example is given. Suppose, for example, to make visitor visit the site Yahoo, the command we use for given is, suppose in the feature file it is written that I have to visit yahoo.com. So in the feature file, what we'll write is given. We use these expressions. These are the regular expressions which are automatically generated when you will be using Cucumber plugin in your IDE. So I am on www.yahoo.com. Do. Then this is the implementation, browser.go to this particular URL, and end. This will visit www.yahoo.com. Okay. Now, what are the difference between JBehave and Cucumber? JBehave and Cucumber both are same with respect to I mean the testing functionality, but JBehave is Java based and Cucumber is Ruby based. Okay, and JBehave are based on stories, while Cucumber are based on features. Like in Cucumber we write feature files, in JBehave we write stories. Explain test harness. A test harness for Cucumber and R specification allows, R spec is basically Ruby based testing tool, allows for separating responsibility between setting up the context and interacting with the browser and cleaning up the step definition files. Okay, I'm not going into very detail of explaining the test harness. I'll be creating a separate video for this. So for the interview point of view, we should know that for Cucumber, it allows for separating the responsibility between setting up the context and interacting with the browser and cleaning up the step definition files. Okay, when to use R spec and when to use Cucumber. R spec is used for unit testing and Cucumber is used for behavior driven development. Cucumber can be used for system and integration testing. Okay, when you have to perform only unit testing, then we use R spec, and when you have to perform entire your whatever your application is, you have to create a testing framework for that, then you can simply use Cucumber framework. What is the language used for expressing scenario in the feature file? So as I have already told you, in the feature file we use simple language that is called Gherkin language. So Gherkin language is used to express scenario in feature files and Ruby files containing unobtrusive automation testing for the steps and scenarios. What are the regular expressions? A regular expression is a pattern describing a certain amount of text. The most basic expression consists of a single literal character. So in Cucumber, we have to use regular expressions for obtaining the mapping between feature files and step definition files. In the previous example where I have shown you how do we give the implementation of feature file into step definition file, you can see simply these characters here, slash and this dollar. So this is the pattern where we have to use regular expression, but it's not very complex. When you will do the actual implementation of the Cucumber framework, you will get to understand how to do this. In most of the IDEs, it provides, an automatic method of generating this mapping. Okay. Then what is BDD? BDD, or behavioral driven development, is a process of developing software based on test driven development, which focuses on behavioral specification of software testing units. So in BDD, it is basically an enhanced version of TDD, where you can write your test scenarios based on a simple language, which can simply define the behavior of your application. Okay. Now again, what is Gherkin language? It is a plain text language with a simple structure. It is designed to be easy to learn by non-programmers, yet structured enough to allow concise description of test scenarios and examples to illustrate business rules in most real-world domains. And I have already explained you what about the Gherkin language in very simple way. What does a Cucumber feature or support file contain? So the feature file contains supporting Ruby code. Feature support file contains supporting Ruby code. Files in support load before those in step definitions, which can be useful for environment configuration. So we don't have to go into details of this particular support files, because this provides like inbuilt implementation. I mean the code which loads before those in step definition files. While creating the framework, we just have to, after setting up our automation framework and providing all the related plugins, we can simply start writing our feature files and corresponding step definition files. Now, what is a feature file? Feature file contain a high-level description of a test scenario in a simple language. It is known as Gherkin, which is plain English text language. Feature file consists of the following components, like features, scenario outline, given, when, then. So feature, what is a feature? It describes the current test script which has to be executed. What is a scenario? It is a steps and expected outcome for a specific test case. I have shown you the example above for the same. Then the scenario outline. Outline can be executed for multiple sets of data using scenario outline. Okay, scenario and scenario outline are same, but the difference is scenario outline can be executed for different set of data. Okay, given, it specifies the context of the text to be executed. When, specifies the test action which has to be performed, and then expected outcome of the test can be represented by then. Then what is Selenium? Selenium is an automation tool which is widely used tool for functional testing of a web-based application. Selenium supports different languages like Ruby, Java, Python, C#, etc. Why use Cucumber with Selenium? Cucumber and Selenium are two popular technologies. Many organizations use Selenium for functional testing. These organizations which are using Selenium want to integrate Cucumber with Selenium, as Cucumber helps you to read and understand the application flow. The most important advantage of using the Cucumber with Selenium is that you can it is very easy to understand for anyone in the entire team or on the client side to understand what has been written, because we write the test scenarios in a very simple language like this, like given, when, then, when you do this, then this should be performed. Okay. Now, advantages of Cucumber. So it is helpful to involve business stakeholders who can't easily read the code. Cucumber testing enhances the end user experience. Styling of writing tests allow for easier reuse of code in the test and allows quick and easy setup and execution. Okay. Now, what is a step definition? So step definition maps test case steps in the feature files to code. So step definition basically provides a real actual implementation of the feature files. It executes the steps on application under test and checks the outcome against expected results. In order to execute step definitions, it must match the given component in the feature file. I have already told you that for every feature file and for every test in particular scenario, you will be writing a particular step definition in the step definition file. So these